Hello, my name is Craig. Today I sat down with Doug and Alex of Sheila The Agila, who are fundraising by taking their Vauxhall Agila all across Europe in a rally they designed themselves. Please enjoy the interview and feel free to give your support by clicking on the links down below. I want to thank Doug and Alex for taking the time to have this conversation with me, and I wish them the best of luck. Thank you again, and we hope you enjoy.
Hi there. Hello.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Yeah, not too
Good,
bad.
thanks. How are you?
Good. Yeah, not too bad. Can't complain too much. Ooh, you look in a very lovely location.
Yeah, we're in the middle of basically everything at the moment is all a bit hectic. So we've turned up to the place we're getting the rest of the logos put on the car. So
Right.
we'll be having your logos put on actually after this
Right
chat.
after,
So
yeah.
Oh, brilliant. No,
Yeah.
that'd be great. Yeah, look forward to seeing it on there. No, that'd be brilliant. Wow, that's a quite a nice little trip for you first thing this morning, I'd imagine then.
yeah. There's just unbelievable amounts to do now, as you can imagine. So it's sort of
all the last little bits, they seem to add up quite a lot. So
yeah.
Yes, yeah,
but
that's
sure
it.
we'll get there.
Last minute bits. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for jumping on and joining me sort of first thing this morning. So first, what made you want to do the long loop rally, basically?
Well,
we were originally doing the Mongol Rally, and it's been cancelled for a few years for kind of obvious reasons. And
Yeah.
again, this year there's just no route through. But because we've got lots of sponsors on board and we've made money for our charities, then we decided to create the Long Loop Rally, which effectively was designed around COVID border restrictions and where we could get that was still going to be a challenge for the car.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that happened.
But when we first met, on our first date, we actually talked about doing the Mongol Rally together. And
wow.
Not together, but we just talked about doing the Mongol Rally, and then it went from there. And it's a shame we can't do the Mongol Rally, but we think we found something that's equally as challenging, and so we're and it's going to be incredible. So and massive challenge for Sheila.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I looked at the route and I was like, Jesus, it's quite a long trip and quite varying different terrains and roads. So it should be a bit of an adventure. So what sort of, I know COVID played a massive role in sort of the planning of the trip and getting it ready. Is that still something you're having to take into consideration with a lot of countries?
Yes.
Or?
Yes, it is. I think I saw something the other day. So our furthest east point we're heading to is Azerbaijan.
Yeah.
And I saw something that Azerbaijan may or may not be open. Well, it says it's open on the government website, but then it turns out that it may not be according to the news. So every country, because again, COVID is prevalent again. So they're just changing overnight. So that's part of the challenge of this is who knows, we might get stuck in one country and not be able to get through and so on.
Might have to reroute some way and
it's we're just going to take it as it comes. There's no point stressing about it.
No, that's true.
Easier to find out in country about things like whether PCR tests are needed for some of the border crossings still and things like that. Because as Doug says, they change overnight. So
that's part of the issue at the moment, isn't it? With COVID sort of coming back to the forefront, a lot of countries are planning around that. So hopefully, fingers crossed and touch words, you won't be too affected. So you chose, is it Blesma and Coolearth? Blesma, sorry, bad pronunciation. What made you choose those charities?
So I used to be in the armed forces, and I left the armed forces to go and work in prosthetics, so making arms and legs for amputees because of my time in the military. And it's sort of Blesma is a charity that I'd come across in my time in the military, and obviously when I was working as a prosthetist. So it's a charity that works with limbless veterans, and it's both of those key parts of my life in one charity. They do fantastic things. They really improve the quality of life of veterans with limb loss and sight loss. And so I wanted to raise some money for them, and that's the charity that I really spoke out to me. Of all there's so many options. You have to sort of pinpoint one charity. For me, that was my one. So that was my sort of charity.
And then our other charity is Coolearth. And we try to be quite eco-conscious day to day. So Coolearth work with Indigenous populations to try and stop deforestation, but they try and look at sustainable ways of doing that. So ways that the people who are used to living off the forest can continue to do so without kind of ripping them up for palm plantations and stuff like that. So we felt that was a good way of kind of offsetting our journey a little bit and helping with saving the planet a little bit.
Definitely. No, they're two great causes. You know, they both really have their merits. So, you know, they're admirable causes to sort of help support it. I mean, in terms of, you know, the environment, when you've planned the trip and you plan the rally, you know, is that something that's really been at the forefront of your mind, trying to be very carbon conscious, essentially?
Very much so. We're very aware of, you know, in doing this, our carbon footprint is a hell of a lot less than it would be if we were flying to all these destinations. So we're trying to show that in one way you can have these amazing adventures and experience a lot of the world without having to fly. Yes, you have to have several months off to go and do it, but you can do it. We're also aware of, you know, single-use plastic and trying not to use that. So we've got a couple of sponsors on board who've helped us along with that, with Life Straw and Hydro Flask, and they have. We've got Life Straw so we can drink water out of even dirty puddles if needs be, and you know, our Hydro Flasks, they can take the Life Straw. So every little thing we can do.
We have an outdoor shower on the car, so we've got a lovely small company on board who have like provided us with eco-friendly soaps and things like that. So our general impact in that regard as we're traveling will hopefully be somewhat reduced anyway.
And we've also taken this car, which is effectively would have ended up in a scrapyard, and turned it into something that we can continue using. You know, it's a 20-year-old car, and we're giving it a new lease of life. They are not the sexiest of cars, and you know.
You know, I think some people might argue with that, but it's one of those cars. Like when I was mentioning it to my director, he was like, "Isn't that quite an old car?" I was like, "Yep." They've decided that they're going to try and traipse it around Europe. So I'm wishing them the best of luck for it, because
they were also very cheap to buy, or they were very cheap to buy. So
even then.
And they got lots of headroom. So,
which is a big benefit when you're sort of having to live out of it, because I'm guessing that's what you're doing sort of as you're traveling. You're living out of it, maybe camping in some spots, that kind of thing. So is that something you kind of had to have planned with the vehicle, trying to essentially take this car from, you know, 20 years ago and turn it into a sort of car camper conversion type thing? Exactly. So how difficult was that, and sort of getting your head around how to make that work for you?
So we initially started, you know, we got the car, we thought, right, it's boxy, it's perfect. We'll get, you know, it's cheap, it's boxy, and it's, you know, it's underpowered. So this will do perfectly. So we stripped it all out. This was back in a couple of years ago now. So it was during one of the lockdowns, or one of the, you know, we started working on it on an abandoned farm in winter. So there was no electricity, no like 4 hours.
No heat.
No, exactly. It was really cold. And so we stripped it all out. And when stripping it out, we realised nothing's even, nothing's symmetrical. There's no flat surfaces. And so it's been a bit of a challenge. We've had to sort of, we initially started a lot of trial and error, a lot of getting it bit. And then since then, we then have been using sort of in the build up for this rally for about 1.5 years now, actually. And we decided we've got a new roof rack, and the roof rack's pretty solid. So that was sponsored for us. It was given to us by Built Not Bought Campers. But they've it's quite weighty. So we've had to then go, right, well, our original build was 12mm birch ply, so really thick, heavy birch plywood. And we've gone, right, this is too heavy. So we've, in the space of 8 days, wasn't it? 8 days, we gutted it again and rebuilt the entire interior with a lot thinner plywood, a lot lower bed, a lot smaller fridge, a different stove, everything. We basically made it a bit more practical for the rally from what we'd learned of driving around using it in between. But it was a big challenge in itself, trying to get it to become a camper.
We learned a lot from the first build and what we wanted to change. So now we can sit up inside a little bit easier, as you say, because we've got that headroom. So we've kind of lost a little bit of storage in that regard because we've lowered the bed, but at the same time we've gained the ability to actually sit inside when the weather's not so good.
To be comfortable, comfort for storage.
Yeah.
It's sort of the balance of any conversion, even if it's a Mercedes Sprinter. So it's always a sort of balancing act of finding it. So in terms of your power sort of requirements, because it is such a small vehicle and small car, I'm guessing that was also quite tricky because you don't really have space for a 100 big battery to shove in for you guys to be off grid. So how have you got around that challenge?
So we've built in we've got a 90 amp hour leisure battery, which is effectively at the moment underneath what would be the boot floor, I guess. It's the underneath the bed. There's a little panel you can access the battery, and there's that's that because we're not using that much. We're we're mainly it's all 12 volt, and it's lights. With the biggest power drain we've got is the cooler. We haven't got any sort of economical cooler. It's literally a cool box from a car, one of those ones on 12 volt mounted on its side. So it does. If you leave it for a couple of days, you suddenly notice that
decides to drop quite significantly.
Yeah, exactly. But we've used everything else as you'll very well know, and most of the people who follow you guys will very well know that you can use LED lights. You can get all the lighting you need. You can keep things that are really low voltage, not low voltage,
low amp draw,
low amp draw. That's it. Got electrical terminology.
Still early in the morning, trust me.
So it charges as we drive, and then because we're not planning on being somewhere for prolonged periods, hopefully we won't drain the leisure battery to a point where, but it is a lead acid battery, so it's pretty hefty and. It was within budget.
Exactly. That's the problem as well, isn't it? Because for an event like this, you don't want to be spending money where you don't have to, because then you're taking money away from these great causes. So the option for lithium, although lighter and maybe a little bit better, it's a good couple of £100 more that you're sort of depriving of those charities. So, and I think as well, as you said, for your needs, you're not going to be stationary for long, from what I've gathered. You're going to be moving a lot, so that battery's always going to be charged. So
absolutely, we just got a smart split charger relay.
Yeah, we considered putting a little solar panel on the roof, but again, we just decided it probably wasn't worth the cost, really. Because we're going to be moving a lot. So
definitely, that's the thing. I think as you're moving, you're charging the battery, and that's going to be sort of pretty much 6 hours of your day, pretty much driving as you try and make the route work for you. So it's not like you're going to be stationary for very long, sadly.
I imagine once we get Sheila back, because we're touch wood, we're going to get Sheila back, and then we won't be doing such long drives each time we go out and to go anywhere. So we might consider then getting a solar panel. It depends. It's all about what your needs are, and our needs are not. I don't think anyone else really. There's not many people in their van that are moving every day.
No.
If they're van lifers or they're in their camper vans and things like that.
So they need some way of sustaining their power, don't they?
Yeah, I think that's why we're quite lucky in many ways, because we can get away with quite a minimalist system. But definitely, I think we'll have a few more mod cons when we get back. So.
Make it a bit more comfortable for living. So as you've sort of gone through it, I know you mentioned that you've changed various different things. Is there any lesson that you would take away essentially from the build? What was the one thing that you would have gone, I wish we would have done that straight at the beginning? Because
lighter wood,
the lighter material, that's the biggest one.
We didn't know, because we'd not built a van out or anything before. We weren't sure what mill plywood we could get away with. So we went a little bit too bulky to begin with.
It's now neither of us had ever done anything like this before. We're Alex works in healthcare, and I were both working in healthcare, weren't we? So neither of us. I'd never used a router or anything like that before doing this.
Learning curve.
Yeah, you'd never used a jigsaw. Or electrics. That was a lot of googling.
I was gonna say, how did you find learning about it? Did you pull from a lot of different resources, like friends, online, or was it just mostly online?
Mostly online. YouTube's a big help. But then again, finding the exact question that you've got, and trying to understand the different aspects of it. It was mainly online, but then obviously you meet people and they tell you this, we've done it, this is what we do. you know, after that you need this, and you know, we got a lot of good advice from people physically and online.
To be fair, that's the thing with 12-volt van life and that kind of aspect. It's a really big community, and we know, our customers will get a lot of feedback from other users and pull a lot of information that way. Sometimes that's beneficial. Sometimes it can cause you to be like, well, one person's saying X and then one person's saying Y, and I'm not quite sure where I sit.
Something that came up a lot. Gauges of wires and stuff. At first, I just couldn't understand. You know, I was like, so one person says this, one person says that. Why is that one thicker? Why is that one thinner? I don't know. And you have to use common sense, really. You're just like, okay, well, I guess thicker could probably take more electricity.
Absolutely, yeah. Always best to go a little bit thicker in those instances where you are unsure. So that's always a good sign. So your complete route, you're going through a lot of different countries. Is there anywhere in particular you're looking forward to visiting?
For me, I don't know. Actually, it's going to be this. You know what? It's going to be probably the least dramatic sounding one. I'm really looking forward to going to the Czech Republic because I've got a very good friend there and I haven't seen him in years. So.
That's quite nice, though. That's quite heartwarming that you're going to be able to go and actually meet somebody who you've met. What about yourself, Alex?
It's a really tough question because there's a few places that I'm really looking forward to. But I think possibly Turkey because of the route that we're taking, we're going to get the chance to go across the north of Turkey on the way out and then back through sort of further south. So I think that would be really interesting to see. We'll really get to see like a huge area. So I think that would be interesting.
See what the kind of regional differences are like.
Yeah.
There's so much history there. There's ruined cities and towns and things everywhere. And so it's something that we're really into our history. So it's fantastic. There's an opportunity as we're passing. We can always survive because it's not a rally in the sense of we've got a time frame, but it's not a timed rally.
Yeah.
It's not about speed. It's about the journey.
Yeah, it's about also taking a car.
That.
Yeah. Oh.
It's a bumper sticker, that is.
Yeah.
I'm sure, for definite. You can sell it online for sure.
We're just the only reason it's a rally is because we're doing it in such a terrible car. In such an unsuitable vehicle. Yeah. So it's and we're driving a long way. So
yeah,
we've got a few really difficult looking mountain passes that we're going to try. So there's like one in Romania which would be really interesting.
The Death Highway in Turkey.
Yeah, up in the north of Turkey.
Yeah.
Another couple in Morocco. So so we're really challenging the car.
We're going to try the Atlas Mountains and the Sahara while we're down in Morocco. Yeah.
That'd be good. Yeah. So I mean, with those challenges routes, you're putting a lot of stress on a car that is 20 years old. I know you said at the beginning, that this was all very new to you. How are you on the mechanical side? Do you have a lot of support there, or is it just you guys, and then you'll have to try and problem solve as you go if you do have issues?
We'll be problem solving as we go. I mean, that's how we've done it so far. We've changed some parts of the car that needed changing, and had a little bit of support from one of our sponsors at a garage, who have kind of helped us with ramp time and stuff like that, and given us pointers. But predominantly YouTube, and just whack it with a hammer. Hopefully, it'll work.
being a 20-year-old car, it's just prior to it all being electric. All the systems being electric. So it's so that's, I think, automotive electrics is a bit above what I'm capable of. Like some of the intricacies of airbag systems and if that goes off, we're stuck. So fortunately, you can sort of get access to all these things. And with this, you've got the almost minimal
simplistic.
Very simplistic. And with, as I said earlier, the electrics are still quite new to me. So it's the more simplistic, the better. There's less to go wrong. So if it does go wrong, I know how to deal with those problems, but there's less likely, there's less of stuff I can have ruined.
I mean, touch wood that there will be not any issue. There will be no issues, but it's always good that you have got that sort of simple engine and the simple sort of setup that you feel kind of like we can sort of deal with anything.
Well, we can get spares most of Europe, so
because it's a Vauxhall.
So Vauxhall Corsa engine, so it's they're 10 a penny most places. So
so we're taking a couple of the more obscure spares or spares that we know go a lot on the car, wheel bearings and bits like that. We'll take a couple of those with us, but otherwise, hopefully, we'll just be able to get help from mechanics where we find them. And,
nice people.
That's it. Just beg for help and hope.
Absolutely, yeah. What we gather is there's people, especially when you head further east, are really hospitable. They will welcome you and they'll help you. They'll feed you if you're they'll leave food for you outside your car. That's what I've heard. So
touch wood that you'll experience that then whilst you're over that way, and be able to share that with the world, because I do think that's one of the things that I like about seeing your sort of journey is going to be seeing what you do in all of these places and the people you meet and the support that you guys garner, especially with the car being all dolled up with the graphics, sort of with your charities and people coming up and asking you about them. I think that's a really good thing. I mean, what made you? So the car that you've chosen is a Vauxhall Viva, isn't it? What made you? Agila, sorry, that's right. Yeah. So what made you pick the name Sheila for it?
Well, we usually go by number. So sorry, I'll explain. So our original camper, we have a Skoda Citigo, so a little tiny 3-door. We've converted that into a sort of a camper.
Yeah, we made like a boot jump for that.
Yeah, my feet were out the boot because I'm 6'2", and that was called Omar because the last three on the number plate were OMR. And then we bought Sheila, and the last three on her number plate are HPV, which is,
you can't really make anything out of it.
No, and also it stands for HPV.
So, that's it. Yeah.
So we went for the rhyme instead.
So Sheila the Agila.
So that's simple as that.
Simple as that. Brilliant. No, that's beautiful. Well, so that's pretty much all the questions that I have really for yourselves. I mean, I wish you the best of luck on your journey. Is there a website, links that you want us to give out for people?
So our social media is just Sheila The Agila, and that's Instagram and Facebook.
And our YouTube is we're on YouTube now. We've started YouTube. We've got a couple of videos out. We're Compact Camper Couple.
Oh, beautiful! That's perfect.
Yeah. And we have got a little website as well about the rally, and that's linked on our Instagram page. So
there's also ways to through our social media pages. There's ways that people can donate to the charities, and there's also a kit list. So we're begging for fuel basically. So if anyone wants to donate a jerry can of fuel, they can do that via the kit list, and it will get to us, and we'll be able to top up. So
and then they get a little perk. So when we do top up and use that contribution, we'll give them a little shout out on social media. And depending on what they choose on the kit list, depends on what little perks they get. And it can be things like bringing them back a petrol station snack from an obscure place, things like that.
I think somebody's helped us with ferry tickets, and they're getting a fez from Fez in Morocco. So
I like that.
Yeah,
that's really cool. Yeah, I'm kind of tempted to get a fez myself now. I might have to look at those perks and see if there's something I can get. No, that's beautiful, guys. Well, thank you very much, as I said, for taking the time out of your day to do this. And I'll wish you the best of luck on your journey, and hopefully we'll speak to you soon.
We're really happy to have you guys on board. Really pleased to be showing off your company as we whiz around the world.
No, appreciate that. Well, thank you very much, as I said. And hopefully you'll enjoy the rest of your day and the trip will go well for you.
Thanks.
Amazing. Thanks.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. Cheers, guys. Bye now.
Bye.